From Central Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Tonight.
All right, we are back with more Fox 59 Tonight here in the studio with Fox 59's very own Emmy Award-winning, I do believe.
Yep.
And now Murrow Award-winning journalist.
Multiple Murrows.
Multiple?
Now. It's my third one.
Your third?
Yeah.
I don't even have any. I've been nominated for a couple Emmys.
Man, I feel like I'm more of a loser than I am a winner.
Well, but you actually have hardware. I've only been nominated.
We're going to get you some hardware.
Okay.
It's only a matter of time. You're nominated.
I am,
for
again,
Emmys, right?
I'm nominated again, yes.
The gala is, June 21st?
Yes.
I think?
Yes.
Yeah, you're nominated for a couple. Aren't you up for two?
I'm up for one as far as I know.
Okay.
I'll take
So
the
we're
one.
both up for some then.
You know, it would be nice to win. Being nominated is cool. Not everybody's nominated, but kind of.
Well, how many times are you like a 10-time Emmy nominee?
No, I'm not Susan Lucci just yet. I was
constantly nominated.
I was nominated in Phoenix. I was nominated here at Channel 6 down the street. That was during the our live riot coverage in 2020.
You guys did have really good coverage of that, I must say.
Was nominated, but you know who I lost to? Your former boss.
Oh, right. I remember that.
Mr. Al Carl.
Yeah, he went on air. The news director.
The news director went on air.
Physically went on television.
Yeah.
On air and reported.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they were short on reporters because I had left by that time.
It was crazy that night.
Yeah.
And
went on air and
he went on air and was out reporting, doing the same thing I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So we both were nominated for an Emmy. We were both on TV at the same time. And he won.
Yeah, I think it's because he was a
news director. And that's not his job. And
I call them house cats. The house cats.
Here's how I feel about that.
Yeah. That's how I feel. I think that's why he won.
Yeah, congratulations, Al. No, we love Al. We love Al. Thank you, Al. It was good. So, as we talk about the other thing we talked about, I had I can't remember who I was having this conversation with. I was like, why do we always say the other station?
Yeah.
Like we never say like what station it is.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody knows you used to work somewhere else.
We worked somewhere. Both you and I worked at other stations in town.
I worked at the ABC station, Channel 6, WRTV, and you worked at
Channel 8, Wish TV.
Which at the time was?
It was the CW.
It was CW when you were there?
CW, yeah, because they had already lost the CBS affiliation by the time it had happened, I think like 2 years before I got there. I got there in like 2017, 2018. Okay. So it had like just happened. So it was CW when I got there.
There are very few people in this building who have
only just worked here.
Yes. So far, on air, my count is Russ McQuaid.
What are we up to?
Russ McQuaid and Bob Donaldson.
Yeah.
Now, technically, Bob Donaldson has now been on a second channel because he's now on CBS 4.
And he did start technically on Fox.
Yes.
So okay.
But then you would say the same thing about Russ. But nevertheless, he's been in the same operation,
the same station.
Yes.
Yeah.
Newsroom.
Yeah.
For 30 plus years. So we're going to talk to Bob here at some point soon to find out just how did you do that? Because lots of us move around and
it's pretty common in the industry.
It's very common.
Very common.
And that makes things difficult.
Yeah, it does.
When you are trying to decide, okay, when am I going to start a family? Where am I going to be? Do I like this market? Do I want to go to my home market? Do I want to go to a smaller city, a bigger city?
It makes everything so hard. Like everything about life when you start a family, when you start dating, because if you're going to start, dating in the city that you're in, but then you're like, well, I just know I'm going to leave when my 2-year contract is up. Then what if that person doesn't come with you? I mean, this industry is so unforgiving on the personal side of things.
But it's working out for you right now.
Nice little segue.
Because you got a little something going on.
You're going to get me blushing.
You got a little something.
Yeah, I do.
Do tell.
Well, I hadn't been, and like I told Cameron, everything is on the table. I hadn't dated. It had been like a decade since I had a serious relationship because I had been following my career. Like we were just saying, I was I started in Quincy. I moved, from one station, walked across the street, went there, and then didn't really have a serious relationship there. And then came to Indianapolis, didn't really date, just focused on, being in my first big city. And then crossed the street here. And I just, I woke up and I was like, holy crap,
Move
so
that
much
microphone just a little bit to the side.
that side.
Yeah.
That good?
Yeah.
See, I
Yeah.
don't even know what I'm doing.
There we go. That would be perfect.
That's why I
Perfect.
love this. This is so much more chill.
Yeah,
We
it's
can do
chill.
this.
And we want to be able to see your beautiful face.
Or me blushing. That's what it is.
Uh-huh.
But so then I come here and then you just, like we said, you just wake up one day and you're like, huh, like I've really been choosing my career this whole time. And then when I came here, I thought, all right, we're going to keep choosing the career. I'm like, we are not dating. Like, this is going to be a quick, like, I just still had this mentality because I had just come back from a very severe injury. It took 3 years to, relearn how to walk. You were a good friend to me during that whole period of my life. And I remember telling you, like, I just want to get my life back. I never thought that I would end up with a boyfriend. And I think everybody always says, like, it always happens. What is that cliche saying?
When you least expect it and when you're not looking.
When you least expect it. And I will tell you, I fought it tooth and nail because I was never one to date somebody in the office. I was always very traditional and I don't know, it just happened. I mean, one day the very first time I even spoke to him, my IFB, the piece that we wear in our ear, it got stuck in my ear. And so I turn around like at the back of my desk and it's just us two nightside. We're working. And I'm like, he's going to think I'm such an idiot, but I need him to help me get this thing out of my ear. And then he's like, what do you need? I'm like, the thing is stuck in my ear. And he like walks over thinking like this idiot helps me get it out of my ear. And then we just were friends after that for months and months and months and months. And then
you haven't said his name yet. So people are like, Russ
oh,
McQuaid?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's how we're starting. I haven't said his name yet, have I? Yeah, it's Michael Van Scoik. I mean, so he worked with me. He was a nightside reporter with me at the time. And I think everybody in the newsroom, Cameron, I think knew that we both liked each other. He fought it, I fought it. And then it got to the point that we were all out. It was Justin Kolar's going away party. He used to work here. I don't know.
We love a good going away party.
We love a good going away party because that's everybody comes out for it. Everybody gets together. And it was Aaliyah Blackburn who went up to Michael and was like, "You're an idiot if you don't take advantage of this and try to date her, or she's gonna pick somebody else. Like goodbye." And I was like, and he told me about that later. And so he finally got the guts up enough to ask me out on a date. And at first I was just like, this is going to be awkward. And I think I actually called him, like my puppy brother. Like the very first time I met him, I was like, you brother zoned him. I brother zoned him. And I was like, yeah, you're like my sibling. And then after I finally was like, okay, we should maybe try this. Then he like started, to grow on me. And I was like, all right, here we are. And we didn't go public with it because I was so, you never know. Like, do I need to tell HR about this? Like, what are we doing? And then on Valentine's Day, like 4 months later, I just was like, you know what? We're going to post it. We're going to go all in. So that's.
I remember I was there at Justin Kolar's party. And Cameron really minds his own business. He really does. But I did pick up on, I was picking up what was going on. And I remember we won't get into all the behind the scenes details, but I remember you were keeping track of who else was interested, because by then you realized you were interested.
Yeah. And I feel like that always happens to me whenever I start to like a guy. And I feel like other people I feel like when one person gets like a bunch of attention, then all the other people are like, ooh, what's so interesting about him?
Yes.
It's like, it's like piranhas, like trying trying to get him. And at that point, I had even started like, you know what? I don't need to work for this. Like, if somebody wants to be with me, they will. And I remember that was my attitude that night. Because I mean, you know me, Cameron. I don't care. Like, if somebody wants to be with me, they will. And I'm not going to fight for it. I will never fight for anybody. Like, and then that's how that started. Was just I remember that night like vividly. Like, is this how it's gonna go?
Well,
but he finally got some guts and decided.
I'm glad that it's working out for you guys, because it is so hard in this industry for a lot of different reasons.
It is hard.
To date and to because not only is it hard to date, but let's say you do get married or you have kids or whatever, that totally impacts your career
Yes.
path. So,
Yes.
maybe, and I'm just making up something, maybe you wanted to go after working in Indianapolis, you want to go work in New York City.
Right.
Well, maybe that's fine when you're in your
When you're
30s and
single,
single, but
when you're with someone and then you have to take into, obviously you're going to take them into account, especially if it's serious. But I have a ton of friends who are in this industry right now, and we have girl talk, and they will openly tell me, I made a mistake. I should have waited a little bit longer because now I'm in this relationship. They're not married yet or anything, but hey, I'm dating this guy and I really like him, but I really want to move. And I'm like, ooh, that is the hard part about this job is it's like sometimes I feel like you can't have both. It's so hard. But I got lucky. We're almost I think it'll be 2 years.
2 years?
2 years in November. So a year and some 8 months. What are we at? A year and 8 months? I don't know.
Yeah.
Math is not my forte.
Well, November, you said?
Yeah. So is that a year and a half? Year and
6
8 months?
months.
Year
Yeah.
and 6 months? See, like I said, I'm
Mhm.
I'm already skipping ahead to the 2 year. Yeah, about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Wait, no,
Well,
6 plus 2 is 8 because November, we're in June.
November.
So yeah, it's
Correct.
a year and 8 months.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at you.
So I know, shocker. I mean, who knew? I'm very surprised myself,
Well,
honestly.
we're all happy for you because you guys are a good couple.
Thank you. And he's just so good and he gets it, because he understands the industry and he's such a good person. And I think that's what for me I needed because my personality is so up here. I needed somebody who, was just, down here and just calm and could bring me, like neutralize me,
Do
as my
you
dad says.
do you get what we call the old jail mail here
Oh my
from folks who
constantly.
want to be in
Oh
Michael's
my gosh.
position and want to date you?
So it's funny you asked that because when I finally decided, like, okay, I'm going to go public with this, I was nervous because I'm like, I've never done this before. I um, got a ton of messages that day. And so I ended up having to turn off all the messages. So you can't message me on Instagram. You can't message me on Facebook. You can't message me on Twitter. The only way you can even contact me, which it's good that I did this, not even just because of that. The only way you can contact me is to my work email so then I can forward it on to HR if you say anything. And I did. The second I announced it, I had like that day, it was like instant, like messages from dudes being like, what the heck? And I'm like, bro, I don't know you. Like, go back to your mom's basement. Like, leave me alone. But I mean, that's the role you take on, especially being a female in this industry. It's just like a weird, like, it's just weird. Like, and so it's like you have to be so protective over, I feel like, a personal life and that's why I made it a point, like, I'm not going public with this unless I'm sure. And exactly like talking about this with you here, I would never talk about this unless I was sure. And I'm sure, like, once this airs, I'll get, like, hate mail.
It'll be discussed.
It'll be discussed for sure.
Well, and I know uh, people who are now free, but were once in jail, like to tell me that they love watching Fox 59.
Oh, I love that.
And so that's where I was asking you if you get mail from them because
I have had jail mail.
Yeah,
Yes.
jail mail.
Oh yeah, I've gotten jail mail. I had one like a month ago, and then I had that was like like run of the mill weird. But I had one, gosh, like 6 months ago where he was telling me everything, like everything, and he knew just about everything you could about me. And I'm like, how do you know this? Do you have the internet in there? Like what? Like what are you doing? So that one was kind of weird. And those you just kind of pass on to like HR, and you're like, here you go, you deal with this.
Well, my reason for bringing that up is for I think the people come at this industry at different levels of understanding of how it works. So some people think like, oh, you guys have like hair and makeup people there, and some cities do, and some stations we do not.
We do not.
If corporate, should you want to expend that here in Indianapolis,
Feel
we
free.
are cool with doing that. But and then others don't just don't know the personal side, which is the whole
Mhm.
point of this conversation. Is they only see you
Yeah.
at the desk or in the
Yeah.
field, but when you're off TV, the on TV part still follows you.
Yes, and that is sometimes so hard for me to remember. I was just in Sam's Club the other day and I was getting a new TV. Of course, they had a sale. You can get like a 65-inch TV for like $300. So I'm like,
Hmm.
absolutely. So I was in there with my mom, my dad, and Michael, and the long carts that you have.
Hmm.
And I was just sitting on one and they were giving me a ride around it because, I'm too lazy to walk at that portion of the program. I'm
Hmm.
over it. And my dad, who's been in the industry, he's like, "Jenny, like, people are staring at you." And one lady just walked by and was like, "That's the news lady." And I'm like, "Oh crap, I forgot. Like, I have to be professional. Like, I can't like let my guard down and just have fun." But then at the same time, I'm like, you know what? That's what people like. They want to see
Yes,
you act like a
be normal.
normal person, but it's like it does follow you. And I think sometimes I forget that. And because to us, it's like we're just Cam and Jenny. But I
Hmm.
think some people, when they first initially meet you, there's like, because we're on TV, it's like kind of wild to meet us. I'm like, no, 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 I put my pants on just like everyone
Yeah,
else.
people get starstruck.
Yeah. I'm like,
And um, I think, and I know people are most comfortable coming up to you when you look comfortable because that's when
oh, yeah.
everybody recognizes me.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I'm in a suit, like if I'm stopping at the store to get something,
I've had that too.
people leave me alone. People don't really do anything.
People don't mess with me when I'm like done up, but it's
Hmm.
when I'm like, just
You look like
chilling, no
trash.
hair, yeah, when I look like trash, when
Hmm.
I look like, I
Hmm.
just woke up 10 minutes ago and was like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm gonna run to Kroger.
Hmm.
That's when people stop you. But I
Hmm.
think it's when you look like a normal person.
Though it was funny you mentioned Kroger. There was some random day I was at the Kroger. I don't even really live on that side of town, but I stopped at the Kroger off of Keystone for something,
Okay.
and I was in total most casual clothes possible. And um, when I was in there, several people, like at that one store, came up to me and stopped and talked, or they'd be like, and then some people were like, "Hey, I know you try to keep a low profile, but I watch you on TV every day."
And you're like, thanks.
And so as I'm doing that, I'm walking um out of here. I'm like, I'm just trying to get out of here. Like, and I don't
Yeah.
I love talking to people and stopping. My wife hates it because it takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I will pretty much stop and talk to anybody who wants to talk to me unless I'm truly going. And I remember walking like, man, everybody in here watches Fox 59 apparently.
I
And
found that so when I used to work at the other station in town, I worked there for 2 years. I only got stopped like one time.
mhm,
But then I come here and it's
yeah,
like and I'm like, wow, like our viewers, we have loyal,
mhm,
hardcore loyal viewers. I love our viewers. I have never experienced anything like this. Probably in my career, even when I was in a small town,
mhm.
and I was at the legacy station there, it was nothing like this. Our viewers here they're really loyal.
Well, when I was in that Kroger too, I was leaving. And I'm like, if I get stopped by one more person, next person I get stopped is also looking completely in their most casual of clothes. You know who it was?
Who
It
was
was
it?
Chris Wright.
No way, you guys were in the same Kroger
Yep,
at the same time?
both looking
And
like
for like we
trash.
and Chris Wright is just like, I'm just trying to get out of
Yep,
here.
he was just getting some milk.
He's just stopping by to get some milk, and he
Hmm.
probably, oh, I love Chris Wright. He probably was
Yes,
just sitting in the parking lot, like hyping himself up, like, all right, we can do this. We can do this. Gotta get some
and
milk for
and and
the
off.
homestead.
Yep, he was getting some milk, and it was one of those. It's like, well, okay, this is apparently not the Kroger to go to if you were
Yep.
just trying to do a slide in and slide out.
I found my Kroger. I have my secret Kroger
Somewhere up north, I bet.
somewhere up north
Mhm,
that I just will sneak in
mhm,
and sneak out.
mhm,
And I found one Kroger that's, you don't want to go to that Kroger.
mhm,
The one
mhm.
I found is my little secret Kroger.
I say,
I love it.
you gotta have a
Gotta
good
have
Kroger.
your good Kroger. I love a good Kroger.
So Jenny, I've asked everybody who's come on this question
Uh-oh.
about it could be controversial.
Okay.
It's
I
kind
love a
of
good controversial question.
it's kind of political, I guess.
Uh-oh.
As a journalist or reporter or storyteller or broadcaster, whatever you want to call yourself, Is your job first to be accurate, or is your job first to tell both sides of the story?
I would hope that when I tell both sides of the story that they're both accurate.
You would hope.
I would hope.
So,
That's
and that's why this is a good question.
okay. So you're saying, like, let's say I have two sides and I have this side secured first and it's accurate, but I don't have this side yet.
I'm just saying, when you put a story together, and especially in these times,
Uh-huh.
if one side is telling you that this shirt is blue,
Okay.
and another side is telling you that this shirt is orange,
Ooh.
is your job, do you feel, is your responsibility to tell me that one side thinks that this shirt is blue and one side says this shirt is orange? Or is your job to tell me that the shirt is blue?
Oh, Cam, that's actually kind of a hard question.
Mm-hmm.
I think because I have run into things like that where I knew one side was, like when it was a cut and dry piece, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to tell both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Because why are you, this is so hard. I would want to be accurate and tell the truth and
Mm-hmm.
but then also back it up. Like if I have
Mm-hmm.
resources or
Mm-hmm.
facts or whatever I'm going to do to back it up. But then, it also depends too, like the other side that's saying that, it's kind of like, I have always likened it to, like, when like there's no sides of the story to cancer is bad. Like is
Mm-hmm.
like I don't need to tell the other side of a cancer. Cancer
Right.
is
Right.
categorically bad. So on that one, it's like both sides of that.
Mm-hmm.
But like on one like this, I would hope that if it was a story that really needed both sides, that I could
Mm-hmm.
somehow get both sides. But I think the accuracy, I think I want to be accurate. I want to be telling
Mm-hmm.
the truth. I want to make sure that I'm getting the real accurate part out there versus giving trash that's
Mm-hmm.
wrong and exemplifying that.
Based on your answer, and I'm not a psychologist, I'm just saying that I feel like the true answer, had I not asked you that, I think when you go out, you try to be fair.
Yes. Yes. I try to be fair and I try to give both sides, like you have, I mean, you have to, like both. I've always been that way, like both sides. But yeah, I'd want to be accurate and then let the viewer just, I've always been like that. Like I
Mm-hmm.
present, here you go,
Mm-hmm.
and then let the viewer
Mm-hmm.
kind of decide
Mm-hmm.
what they want. Like if there truly is like da 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 da, but if the answer really is okay, shirt really is blue,
Mm-hmm.
like that's a fact, a cold hard fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I'd present both sides, but then
Mm-hmm.
here's what research says, or here's what da da
Mm-hmm.
da, and then let the viewer decide
And then I don't know that there's
that there's a right or wrong
right
answer
or
here.
wrong answer. It's just
That's an interesting question, especially how you worded it.
because for me,
Yeah, what would you do?
accurate,
That's what I would put. Yeah, like
because I don't care
yeah,
as much to give people both
yeah,
sides.
especially if one side is like
Yeah.
absolutely crazy.
If we're going to talk about where ice cream comes from and you want to give a whole speech
Hmm.
about how ice cream comes from elephants,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. If I have something like that where it's blatantly just like, y'all, what are you doing? I don't even like. I'm like, I don't even mess with that.
I asked, and I got this question because
That's an interesting question.
a couple years ago,
Fair but accurate is my
pre
answer.
COVID even, I had an executive producer tell me that we needed to make sure we're telling both sides of the story,
Oof.
and I was like, there's really only one side to this,
Yeah,
Richie.
it's kind of like I had an EP tell me, like, if it's a story like cancer is bad, nobody's gonna say, well, cancer is good. It's like that kind of a
Well,
thing.
but now we're in an era where
Uh-huh.
people want to say, well, now hang
Well,
on.
now, hey,
Let's
I
talk
know.
about the benefits of cancer.
I know you have somebody who out there who is
Yes.
always, oh my gosh, I know. The
And
era
s-
we're in right now is just wild.
and so in this era, we have
Yeah.
been giving airtime
Hmm.
to people who want to say that cancer is
Cancer is
good.
good. Yeah.
So,
And I think we have to strive to just like the accuracy is what matters and making sure we have facts that back it up. So that way
mhm.
it's not just spouting some, random information. I think there's a time and place, obviously, to tell both sides,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's an issue where it's like, these people are mad about this street corner.
Mm-hmm.
This side says they want it
Mm-hmm.
revamped for safety, like that
Mm-hmm.
type of story. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, both sides there. But if it's just a story where it's like blatantly, like you said, milk is coming from elephants, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm not even going to give the time of day to that
Mm-hmm.
person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is just like, we have to stay factual. I think that's a big thing in this industry right now and people are craving that. People
Mm-hmm.
want the truth. People, I mean, they don't have time to sort through all this stuff
Mm-hmm.
themselves. Like, we need to do that for them. Like, especially when everything is the palm of their hand and they want this instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
I think our job as journalists, when we talked about actual journalism, is doing the digging for them and
Mm-hmm.
getting them that accurate
Mm-hmm.
answer.
Mm-hmm. And then they can walk away. Now, these are the facts.
Yep.
Now,
Then they decide what they think about those facts. Whatever they want to do with those facts after I give it to them, up to them.
and if you want to see if you can get ice cream from an elephant,
Yep.
do your thing.
They can have at it.
So I've asked that question
That's a
to
good question.
everybody that comes in, just because it's
What did Russ say? He would say accurate, wouldn't he? We all say accurate.
well, we'll have to go back and play Russ's episode. I know Daniel said, I had Daniel Miller on for the morning show. Daniel said accurate.
Yeah. So we all said accurate.
We said accurate, but just you said accurate, but
Yeah.
I'm asking that question to find out what
Yeah.
that person's instinct is. And
Yeah.
yours is, and don't take this the wrong way.
No.
Your instinct when you're thinking of a story is not, the first thing you think about is not being accurate, and it is not telling both sides. In your brain, it's how do I tell a fair story?
A fair, yes. Especially if it's something that truly does have both sides.
Yes.
But if it's an elephant and ice or elephant and milk story,
Yes.
mm-mm. But yeah, if it's a real issue, I've got to get both sides to show this person's mad about this and this person's mad too. Like, then you guys decide.
So with that answer, what that tells me is
Yeah.
that you will try to give everybody a fair shake.
I'd try to, yeah. But I better make sure they tell them the truth. They better be
Correct.
accurate. They better be accurate.
And part of that is I have given, both sides a fair shake. And then after a while you realize, okay, what are we doing here?
Yep. I've run into that too.
I had a general manager tell me, journalists always want to be on, stand in the middle, want to be straight down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, in this era, you got to pick a side of the road to stand on, or you're going to get run over.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, that's to think about.
I was like, true. He's like, hey, if people aren't driving in lines and you're just standing in the middle of the road,
Yeah.
gonna get hit.
Gonna
You got to pick a side.
Gonna get mowed down.
So the side is, and again, the side was not right or wrong.
Right. It's just, and like we said too, it's also story dependent as well. But no, I think, yeah, that's an interesting question.
Thank you.
It's very interesting.
Thank you. What in our last couple of minutes here, Jenny, if people want you to come out to their events and maybe even MC, but cover a story, because you're always looking for stories.
I am always looking for story ideas. Constantly. It's like my job outside of my job. I am constantly looking for story ideas.
How can they get in touch with Jenny from the block? They
can email me at jdrasler@fox59.com, and Dreasler is Dreasler. Sorry, I had to think about it.
At FOX59.com. Were you thinking that it was Van Scoic or something?
I was like, oh gosh, not yet. I mean, maybe
not
soon.
Yet. Is there any news? Or, well, I guess
not
We
yet.
didn't get to that portion.
We'll get to that portion of the program soon.
Okay. Jenny Dreasler, every Saturday and Sunday night on the legendary Fox 59 News at 10 is where we can see you. Jenny, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Yeah.
I really have me back. Seriously, have me back on this anytime.
I will hold you to that. because I didn't even get to ask you about your most memorable story that you've ever been on.
I have a ton of stories to tell there. Like stories, like messed up stories.
Okay. But we will
stay tuned.
Well, we have time. We have time for that, because we do a show every night at 8:00 now. So we shall look forward to
have me back on.
I will. I will. So, all right. If you've got stories for Jenny, email her. You can find her doing stories. You work Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, typically.
Yep.
And then you anchor the news on Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
So, all right. Be sure to keep Jenny's ratings up by watching Fox 59 News at 10. You can watch it on TV on 59.1 or right here on the Fox 59 Now Smart TV app. I'm Cameron Riddle. I'll be back here tomorrow night at 8 with more conversation about what's happening in and around Indy, from the White House to the State House to your house. We'll have it for you right here. And I'll talk to you on Sunday morning on my radio show, Open Lines on WTLC at 8 a.m. For now, have a good night.